Hello everyone, welcome to the Life Beyond Death channel. This letter you are about to hear is just one of the millions written through psychography, spread across many places in this earthly world. This particular case took place in Minas Gerais, Brazil, at one of the many spiritual centers that are common and highly respected by the local population. Even members of different religions have had to acknowledge the credibility of the renowned medium after several criminal cases in Minas Gerais were resolved through psychography. In this instance, the information in the psychographic letter from the deceased spirit detailed who murdered him and how it happened, with meticulous precision. The investigation into these details was thorough, and the results were astounding. The murderer was apprehended and confessed, with the confession matching exactly with the information provided in the psychographic letter from the spirit of the victim. Many cases have been resolved in this manner and accepted by the courts following this remarkable precedent in Brazil. Although our letter today is not related to a criminal case, it serves to demonstrate the profound respect that psychography letters have garnered. In another video, I will tell this murder criminal story, but today we have a letter from a suicidal young man written through psychography by a respected medium in Minas Gerais, Brazil, in January 2024. My dear mother, do not be alarmed by the reports that I am about to describe regarding what happened to me. I am the cause of all my suffering in my consciousness. I knew that I could not take my own life, yet I felt unable to fit into this material world. The feelings of frustration, disappointment, and the exhaustion of trying without achieving any positive results became unbearable. I felt isolated, as though no one could understand what I was going through. Gradually, I found a troubling sense of satisfaction in the possibility of leaving this world behind. So, I let myself be carried away by the strong influence energy of the adversaries from the past who came to take advantage of my weak spirit at that moment of helplessness, and they succeeded. In a second of carelessness, I threw away an entire existence, and now, here I am. God allowed me to write this letter through this blessed medium so that it can serve as a lesson to open the eyes of other young people who think of taking their lives, often on the impulse of daily disappointments that soon pass like the day that rises and sets. My regret is immense, and I question how I could do this to myself. In a moment of stupidity, I ended my life. I was erased for a while, and when I woke up, I found myself in a room with two men moving my body. I couldn't move, speak, or do anything. They started dressing me, and I tried to communicate, screaming, but they couldn't hear me. They finished dressing me, and I saw them bringing a coffin. I blacked out again, and when I woke up, I was already inside the coffin at my own wake, surrounded by flowers. Desperately, I tried to get out, but I couldn't. My spirit was stuck to my old body in the coffin. It took me a while to realize that I was still alive after death, that my life hadn't ended with that childish attitude of trying to escape my problems. The agony of seeing my family and friends crying was unbearable, especially you, Mother. Seeing you cry desperately was the worst torment. I screamed like a madman, but you couldn't hear me. These moments are engraved in me for all eternity. They began to carry me with slow steps towards the grave. My despair only increased during the last farewell. The screams didn't leave me until the coffin lid separated me from the world, and everything became dark. I heard the thuds of earth falling on the coffin and the voices of people dispersing. Gradually, everything became silent, cold, and wet. It was horrible. The silence was deafening, and I couldn't move. I couldn't stop crying until I started hearing screams and howls, people calling me, and men trying to catch me. It was like a horror movie, horrifying in every sense. A few days passed, and I began to smell the rot coming from my body along with the flowers. It was insupportable. Maggots and worms started to appear, devouring me. The pain was excruciating. I stayed with this pain for months, so intense that I have no words to describe it. Sometimes I blacked out as if I were sleeping in a nightmare, and when I regained consciousness, I realized it wasn't a nightmare. It was real. In desperation, I struggled a lot until, with great effort, I managed to move my arms slightly, then my legs. Slowly, I managed to detach myself and climb out of the grave. I reached my grave and freed myself from my body, but I still felt pain. I tried to run away, but couldn't. Several spirits, all broken, dirty, and filthy, wanted to catch me, cursing me as a suicide. I ran back to my body until everything calmed down for a while. Then, I managed to leave the cemetery and walked around the block. I visited some homes, but in certain places I couldn't enter due to a kind of protection that barred me. One afternoon, during one of my crazy turns outside the cemetery, I felt something pulling me to the grave like a magnet attracted to metal. You were there, praying for me, Mom. Your thoughts attracted me. I saw you crying with great affection, begging God for my protection. How good it was to see you, even though you were very sad, and it was because of me. I had brought you heartbreak and affliction in life. The regret was overwhelming, and at that moment, little drops of flashes of light began to fall on me, absorbed by my body, comforting me. It felt like an anesthetic for my wounds and pain, a wonderful feeling. When you left, I tried to go with you but couldn't. I was still attached to my body. That day I realized there was something much higher. My pride made me think there was nothing greater than men. I didn't believe in existence after death or a God. After that day, everything changed. I started to reflect and remember what I knew about God and Jesus. Then something caught my attention. From another recent tomb of a woman who had just been buried, rays of light emerged, and her spirit was gone. It was just a flash, and then it slowly went out. It was very different from what happened to me. I had been waiting for so long, feeling only pain and hunger, like a beggar, dirty and bruised. Even though my material body was no longer alive, my spirit was still feeling all the physical sensations. This only added to my confusion. How I missed my home, my warm bed, and the full fridge. I had never truly valued what I had until that torturous time, when I was constantly focused on what I thought was missing. I had to lose everything and suffer to appreciate the simple things I had. Time passed, and nothing happened until two large and ugly men appeared, looking for me. They chained me and took me like a slave. I had dread stamped on my face. We walked for a long time until we reached a dark and tenebrous place, a precipice with a road on the edge, full of caves side by side, each with bars like a prison. They threw me into one, and I heard terrifying screams all around. From time to time, they brought me dirty water and bad food. Desperately hungry and thirsty, I consumed it all like an animal. I no longer felt the worms, but still felt pain, as if my bones were broken. Time and suffering broke my pride. I began to understand that I had planted the seeds of my own torment through my wanton, futile, and useless life. I started to change my pattern of thought, accepting my responsibility for all that happened, and asked God's forgiveness for what I did to myself and others. I fell asleep, begging for mercy and a second chance. I woke up with a pleasant surprise. My dear grandmother was by my side. What joy it was to tell her how much I loved her, how much I had done wrong, and how much I was suffering, 1,000 times more than in life. She hugged me with great love and tenderness, telling me to calm down, that the worst was over, and that I was ready to leave that place. Gratefully, I cried and fell fast asleep once again. When I woke up, I was in a simple, cozy room, clean and well taken care of, in a nice, softly scented bed. My grandmother revealed that it had been a few years since my death, and I would still have to remain for some time until I fully recovered. She assured me she would always visit and support me. She introduced me to a very friendly nurse who would take care of me. From then on, a lot of time passed. Learning was slow, but I recovered, started studying, and even began working. I now understand my mistakes and feel excited about the future. Don't cry, Mom. Don't suffer anymore for me. I'm fine now. They have informed me that in a few years I will reincarnate. They didn't give me details, only that I should trust in God and that it would be best for me. I know it won't be an easy incarnation, and I will be doubly charged, but it doesn't matter. This time, I won't fail. Mom, please take care of yourself and my little brother. My love for you and my regret are immense. Please forgive my weakness. I am not as strong as you are. They told me that soon I will have the blessing to visit you. For now, please keep praying. Your prayers, filled with love and respect, are the support my spirit needs to continue recovering. Please don't cry so much anymore. It makes me feel really sad, too. I am fine now, Mom. Goodbye until we see each other again when God allows it. Your son, who has never stopped loving you. This is a sad story, but there are no fixed rules. The experience from this spirit does not represent the experience of all individuals who leave the material world by taking their own lives. Each person's experience is unique. It depends on many factors, including their spiritual knowledge, moral advancement, lifestyle during their life, and the reasons behind their decision. God, as a Father of love, compassion, and justice, judges by the heart and intentions. The transition from the material world to the spirit world, when interrupted in such a manner, often leads to initial difficulties. However, as the spirit mentioned, they may receive help from the spiritual realm immediately, or they may endure even worse experiences than those described in this letter. To be safe, avoid testing what type of experience you might have after death. It might not be worthwhile. You have the power to change many things in your life now, but once you turn off the switch of your life, you cannot turn it back on. It could take several years of waiting until your next reincarnation to try again, plus carrying the additional burden of having ended your life prematurely. Work harder, have more faith, seek help, and continue your journey with dignity until the end. By doing so, you avoid more suffering for you and your family, and at the end, you can ensure a better life in your next incarnation. If something here caught your attention and resonated with your story, comment here on the YouTube platform. We would love to hear that, and your insights can help other people. We aim to turn on the light of your consciousness. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done yet to receive more contents like this, and your thumbs up is very important to us. Check out the comments here on YouTube for additional materials to delve deeper into the topic. Stay tuned. Take good care of your body, mind, and spirit. See you in the next video.